fourth day, we go back to the first. And on every day one, the last period of the day is the clubs. And so we have a club that could have been more successful if the powers that be that were heading it drove it in a different direction, but it's actually a community service program.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea behind it was that they would go out on every day one of our school schedule and do some mini project to build community. So in the sense, like what you're saying, creating it in the curriculum, that's one way of doing it. But then you still only get that small group. It's not.
You would
So
be able to
most
take your whole class.
schools in this city require
No, this is my
Community-
school just did that, but I'm
no
talking about.
community service, like
Maybe
every
high school.
kid.
She's middle school.
Yeah, I'm a different.
Oh, that's only
place.
in high school.
High school, they have to do 100 hours of community
Yeah.
service. That's true.
But community service, see, and the way that, I mean, I think community service and service learning are two different things, right? And so I'm thinking more, would it be possible to develop service learning projects in schools? But I think it would have to probably be all internal. It wouldn't, you wouldn't really have the opportunity to go out, right? And what I mean by service learning, it might be in a Spanish class if you're a Spanish language teacher, right? Have your class go out once a week and teach Spanish to another group. Or if you're in a reading class, have your students maybe participate at some kind of a transitional housing or set up some kind of a program where they taught literacy to adults, right, adult ed. That type of service learning that would require academic skills, not just community service, right? Something that's gonna require academic skills, but they're still doing a service to the community, but it would require them to use their academic skills to do it. And that's the thing that I think works really well, but it's hard because you probably have to get them out of the school, unless you're in a larger, right?
My school works with the READ program, and it's where the seniors and
Yeah.
juniors
I know that.
are able to go to the local elementary school. I
And
think
teach
once or twice a
younger.
week after school, and tutor the little kids.
But again, it's after
After
school.
school,
After
it's not
school.
during school.
And they get paid, right?
I think it depends how
Okay.
they do. After a certain amount of weeks.
Okay.
In my school, community service defined you can get paid.
Okay.
If they get
Right,
paid,
that
then
makes sense.
it
Yes.
isn't.
Exactly.
Of course, being an art school, we encourage them to find something in the arts. But if they're assisting, let's say, a dance class and they get a stipend, it's not community. They have to really do it for free.
Mhm. Yeah, but I want to move on to the next chapter so that we can spend some time.
Let me just, is the Spira still going strong today? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just
Um,
I don't have friends that works for them.
Really?
But I want to come back to this question of service learning and how might you develop service learning projects in high school or in a middle school. right? But we might come back to that next week. And we'll talk some more about ways that you can structure service learning projects. Service learning and community service are not the same thing, right?
Why, what do,
Because service learning requires using academic skills to work in the community, right? So it's both academic and service at the same time. Where community service is not always, it doesn't have to have an academic component to it, right? It doesn't have to have an academic piece to it. Community service, and that doesn't mean that one's better than the other. It's just that if students are gonna be leaving class once a week or using one class period a week, then it needs to be service learning. It can't just be community service, right? Because then they are missing too much time from, too much instructional time. But,
so you wouldn't, it's not service even if they were using their art form, right? It has to be academic.
if there, some type of service learning in an art
Yeah.
setting, sure.